and happiest of Mondays. It is Monday. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and we're here to do our weekly recap of TLC's newest reality show titled Forbidden Love. This episode was called Tainted Love, and this is season 1, episode 4. I like this show. It's very, very interesting. I'm never bored. I'm always kind of having a WTF moment, I'll say. But I like it. It's interesting. It's different. And the couples seem to be somewhat genuine compared to, some other TLC shows. TLC just loves to do shows on dysfunctional couples or couples that should not work. I don't know why they love that, but you know what? It's their prerogative. We're going to start with Ashley and Muhammad today. Ashley is upset at what happened at the dinner that was for her sister. She wanted Muhammad and her sister to make peace because her sister called him a terrorist, and he felt like that was racist, which it is because he's Muslim and, from the Middle East. So it's just been a hot mess expressed between these two. But I do think her family's a little bit racist. I'm not going to lie. Now, Muhammad says that Jennifer is fake for not owning her mistake. And the mistake he's referring to is her calling him a terrorist, which is not nice. It's not nice at all, Jennifer. Jennifer needs to not call, Jennifer's eyebrow lady or whoever does her eyebrows, that's the real terrorist. Atrocious. One of her eyebrows is straight up, so it always looks like she's being extra serious or something. I'd really want her to fix her eyebrows. Please, Jennifer. But she basically tells Muhammad that, Ashley tells Muhammad that she feels like he did well in handling her family. I did not think that he did well in handling her family. He was a little bit rude. He was also impolite. He's still speaking about your family negatively whenever he can. I understand that the sister made that comment, but that's one person. No one else in the family made that comment to you. So why are you being such a douchebag? Just saying. Muhammad's just making it more difficult. I understand part of it, which we'll get into later, is due to his culture and religion and all of that. But then the other piece of it is he's kind of an asshole and cocky. And he don't need to be. Anywho, they end up having a family day plan, so they have to go back and see Ashley's sister, Jennifer, and they go to the farm with their kids, and he does not want to go, but Ashley insists that he comes. Now, Ashley says that she feels like their daughter never gets time with her side of the family while with her dad at the same time, and this is exactly how she gets him to go. She guilts him through the daughter. I mean, what way can you get to him other than a child? That's the beauty in having a kid. Use the kid. But they do get to the farm, and before they can even get there, he has an issue because she's in a dress. It's not like a tight dress or a form-fitting dress or nothing like that. It's just like a simple little sundress because it's hot. It is summertime. And he's complaining because the dress don't have sleeves and wanting her to cover up. And she's like, it's hot. It's hot. I'm not about to be wearing the abaya with the hijab. It's hot. And he insists that she wears these things. And it's crazy because he doesn't wear traditional Muslim wear that the men are supposed to wear all the time. He be in his regular Nikes and, some joggers, a pair of jeans, a shirt. He just be regular himself. And there's traditional Islamic wear that he should be wearing as well. We see him in it in this, the photo that you see on the screen. So Muhammad is kind of a hypocrite, but I'll get into that a tad later. Now, she makes a good point to Muhammad. She's like, you get to bend the rules, but I can't. He doesn't like that. He just wants her to obey. Now, when they get to the little animal farm, they end up talking, Muhammad and the sister, after they let the little kids touch the nasty goats and the pigs and whatever. I don't like farm animals, you guys. Well, I don't dislike them. I'm actually an animal lover, but I don't have the desire to pet goats and cows. I just don't. Even as a little girl, I remember my mom took us to a petting zoo and I was not impressed. So that's just me. I don't care for farm animals, and children touching them bothers me, but because they poop all the time. But anywho, I'm getting sidetracked. So the sister and Muhammad end up talking, and essentially they're both not willing to budge at all. And in my opinion, they're both wrong. The sister needs to take ownership of the fact that she used the word terrorist. You don't have to, like, and people do this a lot, like, especially people who are slightly racist. That's why I think her family is racist. Well, they'll take like a statement and be like, no, I just said this to use it as an example. Like, it's not like I said he's a terrorist and I could have said that. And it's like, just because you didn't actually say it, but used it as an example and the word came out your mouth, it's offensive either way. And it's like, why would you even think that way? Why would that be the one thing you could think about him that's negative? Like, you're showing your hand. So I feel like Jennifer's wrong, and she did make a racially charged and culturally ignorant remark towards Muhammad. But at the same time, I don't like the way Muhammad moves. Listen, your culture say your wife is supposed to respect you and obey and all those words that we don't like. However, comma, it do not say that every woman in your wife's family has to respect and obey you. They're not married to you, sir. She is. So you kind of have to be somewhat respectful. The other part of him that makes him wrong is it's like, where's the care for your daughter? This is still her family and her blood at the end of the day. So stop making the problem bigger. If anything, just don't deal with them, but don't show up and then make it a bigger issue. Like, you know, so I don't know. They get on my nerves, but he tells Ashley's sister, Jennifer, that he does not like to be called controlling. He doesn't appreciate the family saying that. They don't understand the culture. And Jennifer explains that it's because all he talks about is him saying that his wife has to obey. And he feels, and he says this to Ashley, that his reason for being controlling is not because it's just his choice to be that way. He says it's because of his religion and his culture, and that should be respected. But, you know, Jennifer, just like Ashley did in the car and earlier with these two in another scene, she feels like religion, you can pick and choose certain things. She's like, well, I don't follow every rule of my religion, just like Muhammad doesn't follow every rule of his religion. He's not going to BS us to make us think that he does. I know he don't. We done seen him break a few rules of Islam. If you don't believe me, look it up. But he does move on after she kind of makes a point to him as well. They both kind of got each other with those little points about religion and culture and all that stuff. And he moves on about the statement she made about the terrorism and him being a terrorist or whatever that is. Ridiculous. I hate that I have to say that so many times on this channel because it's YouTube and they flag you for anything, but this is what was said on the show. So unfortunately, I have to talk about it. But they can't even get far to have a conversation about the comment she made. Now you could tell that Jennifer's like, I'm shutting it down. I'm not talking about this no more. You could tell she realizes like, oh, snap, I'm on camera and I don't want to look racist, even though, baby girl, it's too late for that. Your sister kind of gave y'all away when she said, I'm from an all-white conservative Christian town. And if my husband walks to a restaurant in Muslim wear, everybody's going to look at him crazy. And they did. They absolutely did. So she kind of gave them away. But Jennifer shuts it down, won't talk at all or about that comment whatsoever, because she says she didn't say it in a way that was, you know, racist or ignorant, but she did, and she won't admit it, which is common actually. Most prejudiced or racist people. Sorry, Jennifer, not sorry. Allegedly, so she don't come sue me or something. But Muhammad says in his religion, you forgive and you move on, you live your life, and they're supposed to get their karma or whatever when they, you know, go and, you know, Judgment Day, all that stuff. So he does. I was surprised he did that. It was almost like you started a fight just to say you forgave her at the end of it and that you wanted to have a relationship with the family. You could have just kept the conversation to yourself, knowing this lady is stubborn and it's not going to go nowhere, and just said, I want to have a relationship with the family. So going forward, you know, let's just talk about my daughter and not talk about each other's culture, religion, or none of that, or marriages. Like, I don't know if he did it for the camera, but I don't know. I don't care for it. Then in the confessional, I'm thinking they make peace, but in the confessional, he says, I'm cutting her off. He's not going to interact with Jennifer going forward. which I actually don't think is a problem. Interact with the rest of the family. Just don't interact with Jennifer. What's the issue? She wouldn't budge. So why should he have to budge? But at the same time, he's a ornery ass. He just is. I don't really like him. Like, his personality sucks. That's just my personal opinion. Like the video if you haven't already. And shout out to the replay gang. We're going to move on to Eli and Lori. We learned that Eli, we learned a little bit about his life. He dropped out of his Jewish high school, ignored the rules of the religion. He's an Orthodox Jew, which is the strictest form of that religion and any religion, allegedly, they're saying. He went and rebelled, got tattoos. He started to drink. He ended up getting into substances. He overdosed and had what he said a little bit of alcohol poisoning. I was like, what? Anywho, he ended up in the hospital from an overdose of alcohol poisoning before he decided to get sober. So congrats to him and Lori, because they both had issues with substances but got sober. He came back to his faith while getting sober, which is no surprise. He says he met Lori in an AA meeting, and they often tell you, connect to your higher power or a higher power in the 12 steps. So it makes sense that he would do that. And, it's just interesting to learn a little bit about him. He was forgiven for all of that and was able to just come right back into being an Orthodox Jew, right? But she has to do all this stuff and be expected to be perfect. I'm really annoyed with Eli and his whole family. And I'm not going to judge the religion, but I will say the people practicing it, from what I've seen on this show with the Orthodox Jew, is extremely judgmental. And I will say that about probably every religion on here. It's not often the religion that's the problem. In my opinion, it's the people who are practicing and representing the religion. They're the ones that disappoint you. But that's a whole nother discussion that I'm not going to get into on YouTube. We see Eli and Lori. I guess they had an anniversary, but they missed it or something. So for some reason, he decides to give her the Star of David, which is important in Jewish religion. And she is extremely uncomfortable wearing it because she says she does not feel worthy yet because she's not converted yet. And she doesn't know if she'll be able to learn Hebrew and all these other things that she has to do, and have 2 different sinks, several different dishes, can't cook in the same pots, can't show your body. You got to wear a wig when you're out in public because your hair is only for your husband to see. I don't think Black women would do well as Orthodox Jews. Man, we don't change our hair. I'm just saying. Moving on. We learned that they moved to an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, which is common. I know it's common in the Jewish religion because I know they have one that's really famous in New York and a couple different major cities in America. So I think that's fascinating and kind of smart. Why not live amongst people who follow the same beliefs as you, think the same way as you? You're not going to deal with people looking at you crazy or, anything too weird. I like that, how they built their own little community. But she feels like she cannot wear what she wants. But they also say that the neighborhood is worth it to live in. They go out to take a walk, and she has to cover everything. She can't show anything. And it's hot outside. I wouldn't be, I believe we live in Southern California. It does get hot down there most of the year. So it's hot. And he's got her covering everything up, which is a little ridiculous. And she gets upset, and he just does not seem to understand that she feels like she's in jail. And it's like, who wants to exercise in a mountain of clothes? Who wants to do that? That's just not comfortable at all. So while they're walking, he notices that she took the necklace, the Star David necklace that he gave her, off. She's not wearing it. And she explains to him, I'm not Jewish yet, so I don't feel comfortable wearing it. And his response to her, which irritated my soul, is that she's stupid for not wearing it. I said, who the hell are you to tell her she's stupid? You're stupid for expecting her to come outside in hot Los Angeles heat to go exercise, and she's not even fully Jewish yet. And why are you living in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood if you're not even officially there yet? Let the girl have her last moments of freedom. Come on now. Hot as hell. And you expect this woman to have to put on a wig too? Wigs are hot and heavy. No matter how good they look, they're hot, they're heavy, and if you itch, you can't get to it. That's why I don't wear them. Like a mess. Just a mess. So she's getting upset because he started talking to her crazy. And we have to remember she comes from an Italian family and they will not let you just talk to them any kind of way. And she's not happy with that. And he doesn't seem to understand that she's already doing a lot for him. So to call that stupid, it's a lot. This woman is literally going to conversion classes 3 times a week out of her schedule, has to try on and pay for wigs because she has to wear a wig in public. Otherwise, she's shaming you in the marriage. Can't show her body, had to give up all types of shit. She's having to change her life. She can't go with her mother on Christmas because yo mama wants her act like she can't do both Hanukkah and Christmas. It's just a lot that she's doing. And I feel like he has no right to go off and he needs to give her a damn break. He really needs to give her a break. So she snaps, and rightfully so. And she rips off the sweater while walking in the neighborhood. She doesn't care. And she's taking off them extra layers of clothes. She said, damn, I'm hot. And she had on a regular shirt. And like she wasn't even in nothing revealing, but it did look hot as hell out there. It was bright as hell. It was bright. It was real bright. And she ripped it off, threw the sweater on the ground. She said, I'm sick of you. Gonna tell me I'm stupid and get mad at me because I'm not wearing a damn necklace that represents a religion that I'm not officially a part of yet because they won't accept me until I take hella classes and learn Hebrew. Come on now. I can't celebrate Christmas. And then, but I got to do Hanukkah for 8 days. Like that's listen, so best. The audacity. I want every Jewish man to go wear a wig and see what that shit feels like. I really, really do. Because who are they to expect for her to have to wear that wig in the LA heat? It really does get hot down there in Southern California. Like, there's deserts not far away. Like, it's unacceptable. So she snaps, takes it off, and then before she walks off from him, he's got tattoos and stuff. She said, you gonna cover your tattoos? You gonna go get a sweater? Because he's not supposed to show his tattoos either. So, you're not about to tell me I got to do all of this as a woman, but you're not doing your part as a man in this. So basically, men get away with more. Listen, I understand the sanctity of religion, but I also understand the sanctity and the beauty of women. Okay? Respect us. Respect us. If it's hot, a woman can show her arms and it not be the end of time. But, I understand it's their beliefs, but she's converting, so he's going to have to give her a break. Now, he claims that this fight started from the necklace and just missed all of her points. I don't know why men do this. Everything that was said. And he says, the problem is the necklace. The necklace is not the problem, Eli. It's your disregard for the fact that this woman is changing her life by walking around in probably 100-degree heat in a damn sweater, and you're upset at the necklace. You're the problem, not the necklace. You. My goodness. Men, I couldn't do it. Oh, I couldn't do it. I would have been banished from the temple. I could not do it. So Jewish food is really, really good, though. And maybe there is something to the kosher, way of eating. There has to be, because I had a friend when I was growing up. Her family was Jewish, and the food was really good. But they weren't Orthodox, I don't think. There's a lot I have to learn. But he does end up calling Lori and apologizing. But I don't know if he was apologizing because he was embarrassed in public or what. But, he does make a good point. He said being Jewish is hard for people who are born Jewish, let alone for someone who's choosing to convert. So it does look like at the end of it, he figured it out. But I'm curious to see what happens with them. But I do kind of favor this couple. I don't know. I just really like them together. So I do hope that they're able to make it work. I really, really do, because I just like them. I really do. I like them a lot. We're going to talk about Linsa and Chris next. They. I'm so sick of his family. His dad don't know how to speaking in tongues, but he can't speak English. I'm gonna do my best to be nice, y'all, but I'm here just to have fun and talk shit at the end of the day. So I'm gonna do that because it's Monday. Why not? So Lindsay and Chris, we see that she is preparing to come with him to church to visit his father's church. They are Pentecostal Christian, which means that they speak in tongues. Them churches where you be seeing the preacher touch them and people fall to the ground as if the preacher has superpowers. Uh, they do the most of them churches. The music is always great though. Now she puts on a hijab and Muslim wear because in Islam, when you go to your place of worship, you cover up, and she doesn't know what they wear to the Christian church, so she's gonna wear what she wears, when she goes to the mosque or something like that. Which it was actually her way of trying to be respectful. And Chris is like, hold on, take that off. You have too much clothing on. I've never heard of someone telling someone they have too much clothes on to go to church. Truly, I have not. But this shows you how judgmental this church is, which we already can kind of tell from Chris. I'm sorry, y'all. I got distracted. My husband is playing a game and people just going down left, right. It's shameful. But yeah, he wants her to change clothes and like put on a little less. And she is actually bothered by this because she says that in a place of worship, this is what you should do. It's like a sign of respect, which she's actually right. Even in Christianity, more is good and less is like, you probably should have wore that, but the Lord will accept you type energy. But he feels like they'll take her wearing a hijab the wrong way, which I thought Christians weren't supposed to judge. So why are you offended by a hijab? Listen, I'm just saying. Why are you offended by her hijab? Why would they take it the wrong way if they're not supposed to judge? Only the Lord can judge, right? Isn't that what the Bible said? So I thought. Moving on. I am glad that she at least tried to be respectful. Now, even with different religions, it's just strange to see like how much clothing for women plays a part in religion as a whole. It's just so many rules for women while the men can just do whatever the hell they want. It's craziness. It doesn't make any sense. It just does not. Now they go to the church and she says she feels like a sellout because she took off her hijab. I'm like, don't say that you feel like a sellout when you're wearing your hijab only to religious ceremony, when technically, from what I remember growing up in Islam, I had to wear one to school. You're supposed to wear that like whenever you're out. So calm down, Linsa. That's why everybody got on my nerves, from Linsa to Chris to the daddy who I can't stand to that weird ass mama. They all got on my nerves heavily. Now, in Islam, I did notice this. In Islam, the man is supposed to lead. Take Muhammad, for example. It's essentially similar, even though there are different ways to practice. But essentially, no matter how you practice, the man's supposed to lead and, all these things. So if you intend to marry him, Linsa, and you're of Islamic faith, he don't have to lead and choose what y'all do anyway. So why do all this extra stuff? Just saying. But when they're talking about the Holy Ghost, she did say some things that were like a little concerning. She said that the Holy Ghost, to be filled with the Holy Ghost, sounds scary. And she said it almost sounded like witchcraft. What if we said that about you getting down and praying on your prayer mat? I'm just saying, you got to be careful with certain statements. I don't think she like fully meant harm by it, but it could come off wrong. But again, this is a show based on like couples of different religions and backgrounds coming together. So we can't be too sensitive. But I was like, ooh, don't say witchcraft. That's rude. Now, Chris's dad, I want him to learn how to speak. Every time they show him trying to say a word, he just does not speak well. If you're going to be preaching and doing all this extra stuff, we got to know what you're saying. He has said the word personal when saying the sermon, and I did not know what he was saying. No lie, y'all. I had to pause my phone because I was watching it work and rewind it turn on the subtitles and then play it again because I didn't know what the hell he said. Thank God for subtitles, right? Hallelujah, as his father would say. Now, Linda was extremely rude discussing the church when she got there. She said it was like a circus. Okay. She said that the Holy Ghost is scary, looked like witchcraft. It was just stuff that you could tell she was trying to throw digs, and that's disrespectful. If you want them to respect you, you have to respect them. It goes both ways. But his dad is retired, but now he want to preach so that Linda can see him. He gets to preaching, and Chris's dad gets rude. It was very clear that this sermon was directed at her. He was talking about people who do not follow the way of Jesus Christ. They may be okay now, but they will be condemned to hell. I don't like Christians like this. And it's part of the reason, me personally, I stopped going to church, because you're not going to tell me that I'm going to go to hell because I don't want to come here on Sunday early in the morning. I'm just saying. You're not going to tell me I'm going to go to hell because I didn't read my Bible before bed at night. You're not going to tell me I'm going to go to hell because I don't practice what you practice. And then you're not going to tell me I'm going to go to hell, all while at the same time telling me that only God can judge. So how do you know that I'm going to go to hell if only God can judge? Are you him? I did feel like the sermon was directed at her, and it does seem like his way of getting people to, accept Jesus as the, Lord and Savior is by putting them down, kind of berating them. And I agreed with her. He did almost try to bully and scare her into accepting the Lord. You do not want somebody to do it for that reason. You want somebody to do it because they want to, they feel fulfilled, they have nowhere to turn in life. Like you want it to be on their own, their own free will. It shouldn't be because somebody is forcing you to practice, that religion. I just think that's disrespectful. You're not going to change anyone's opinion of that. And the Lord blessed us with the science of psychology. So maybe the preacher needs to go back to theology school and definitely restart. I don't know. I didn't like what he did, but Linda gets up and she walks out. And she does make a good point. He is not God, and he has no way to speak as if he is God. So we'll see what happens with this couple next week. But I, at first, was like, oh, maybe she's being extra. But in that situation, I'm like, no, that was awkward. I would have got up and walked away too. Listen, sometimes you have to do that with your partner's family member. Just walk the hell away. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to argue. Just go. The door is closed. Moving on, like the video if you haven't already. Last couple we're going to discuss is Lindsay and Elmer. They are going to meet with Elmer's cousin, Wilma, who grew up Amish as well, but she chose to leave the Amish because she said she wanted a better life for her children. Good for you, Wilma. Her kids are having a birthday party, and we learned that Elmer couldn't do this as a kid growing up Amish. They didn't have birthdays. They said you woke up to like a happy birthday choke, which people weren't always happy about because I guess they choked you out of your sleep. And some people defend themselves and it turned into a fight. I'm like, what? A happy birthday choke? That's really strange. If that's the case, I don't understand it. Moving on. They arrive at the birthday party and it looks like Elmer's having the time of his life. Like he's one of the kids. And we learned that he never got to play arcade games or have parties, all that stuff growing up. So he's kind of enjoying it too. And while he's doing that, Lindsay goes and talks with his cousin and she gets confirmation that the kids pull at the heartstrings of the families who have to excommunicate the Amish family members who choose to go live a regular life. Kind of like that Scientology stuff. So the families sometimes do give in and will talk to the, to the excommunicated again, if it's the case of like grandchildren or, kids. They say the kids tug at their heartstrings. So, Wilma gives the advice to just keep trying with the family, but also be, respectful. She says that she doesn't want her parents to be excommunicated because that's all that they know. But her parents want to know her, their grandkids, which are her kids. So when she goes to meet them, she makes sure to go places where nobody Amish would go. or she'll go see them at a time when, nobody Amish will be around to see them, to protect them as a thank you for still talking to me. So, she just suggests that they keep trying. And the fact that Lindsay is pregnant does offer some form of hope to the fact that someday Elmer can, reconnect with his family. Because she said he cries sometimes watching movies about family, with her. And that's difficult. That's extremely difficult. So I do hope that he's able to reconnect with his family and connect for the first time with a sex therapist, get to a sexaholic meeting or whatever they call them. Because he got to stop watching all that porn, y'all. He got that's enough is enough. I know the walls in that house are tainted. Anywho, thank you for watching this recap of Forbidden Love. This is a new show on the TLC network. This episode is titled Tainted Love. We will recap this show every single week as it continues to air. I'm enjoying it. If you guys want to see me recap any other shows, let me know. Tap in. You can email me. The email is always scrolling across the bottom of the screen, or you can DM me, as well as drop a suggestion in the comments. But love and light to you all. Thug life. Thank you for watching. I'm going to head over to do the Housewives of New Jersey. We're going to go over that last BS of an episode that we got. I will have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel joining me, so be sure to tune in, tap in. Love and light to you all. I'll see you next week.